Hi YouTube, this is the Lost Records experiment results for episode 9 act 3, and this time it was on Texas servers. With this, we have concluded the experiment in episode 9, so this video might be a little longer since I'll be discussing some notable data points, comparing the different servers, and what I'll be doing for episode 10. I'll be putting up Texas first since that's the most recent, but I'll be throwing up Oregon and California stats after each one to compare. Let's get the Texas chart up, and here you go. As you can see, Haven and Bind were the worst with 16 losses each and only one non-deranker loss to share between them. I lost over 600 RR from those two maps alone. Comparing that to Oregon, again because of the giant asterisk due to the suspension and playing with an alt, I only had 9 losses on Haven due to derankers and 165 RR loss because of it on that map. Bind was the worst in Oregon, with a whopping 20 losses and over 350 RR lost. Moving back to California, Haven only had 7, which was the map with the least amount of derank games on it, and I only lost 129 RR. Back to Texas, the map with the least number of losses was Sunset at 9, with only one non-derank lobby included. Comparing to Oregon, which only had 6 losses total on that map, but California was the complete opposite. I had 13 losses on Sunset back in Cali, and it came in second for most amount of RR lost at 232. In Texas, I only lost 169. Pearl and Split were swapped in for Icebox and Lotus's acts, so it will be hard to compare with Act 1 and 2. But along with Haven, these were the only 3 maps in the comp map pool that I didn't have a loss on that wasn't due to derankers. Abyss, Ascent, Bind, and Sunset each had a loss that wasn't due to derankers, which brings me to another interesting stat. I only had 4 losses that weren't due to derankers in Texas. Oregon was an anomaly because of the whole suspension thing, and I only had 5 there. In California, I had 8. And you might think to yourself, geez, you must have had a horrible time in Texas servers since you only had a few losses that weren't due to derankers. I call Texas servers California light because there are still plenty of derankers there. They're just easier to deal with because they don't sound like they just got out of a psych ward. So in total for episode 9 act 3, with 92 losses and only 4 not due to derankers, I had 95.65% of my losses that were lost because of throwers, and a record for RR loss, which was 1,769. And yet somehow, I made it not just back to Plat 1, but to Plat 2. And it'll surprise you to know, I didn't have a horrible time in Texas servers. I had a decent time playing in Texas servers because I was able to get back up to Plat 2, something I hadn't been able to do in California servers since episode 7. And to compare the loss totals for the 3 acts, the biggest takeaway is the total number of non-thrower losses at 17, and the RR loss because of derankers. Almost 4,500 RR lost is crazy considering I didn't play comp for a solid month. So to conclude, Texas might actually be the best server I've played on so far. People were reacting to comms in a timely manner, there was teamwork and competency. Did Plat feel easier to get to in Texas compared to California though? I would say yes. There is definitely a skill gap between these 3 servers. Probably because of the pro players who live and play on California servers dictating how skill is measured via the adoption of pro-level gameplay across the ranks in that server. In Oregon, had I not gotten suspended, I might have gotten a Plat as well. Texas felt like a nice blend of the 2. For Act 10, scratch this, Riot came out with a new update and are now calling competitive episode queues seasons. So Season 2025 will have to be split up into multiple acts, and I'm not sure how that's going to reflect in the lost record data. They've also said that they're going to be changing some buffering areas for your RR so you don't drop down so easily. But anyway, we'll see as we go along. Also, I want to highlight this part of the patch notes because I called this out when I got my unwarranted suspension. They are trying to keep the metrics in line with their messaging, and this is exactly why. It's so they can provide data to show the community that they are doing things to improve behavior when it is clear from my experience that they are not. When people like me fall through the cracks and don't have the suspension lifted, it puts the validity of these numbers into question. Now, I'm not saying they are wrong about punishing disruptors. I just think they can do a better job with manual reviews on tickets, especially if there's video evidence with streamers/content creators. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Catch you guys all later. Peace.